My wife calls me jiddle, that I cannot take something that is wrong. I object to it.
My name is Dr Kamaljeet Kaur. My title is Lady Singh because I'm married to Lord Singh of Wimbledon. Currently, I'm a president of Global Sikh Council.
Indarjit Singh, Lord Singh of Wimbledon. Now that sounds a little grandiose and pompous, doesn't it? But the real title, which isn't used, is Baron Singh of Wimbledon.
I was born in Amritsar, and it's very well known for the Rawalpindi Golden Temple as well. And I stayed there for almost, I was 18. I went to the university in Chandigarh and got married, and I'm here. I've been here since 1965. It's a long time. I had my children here. This is home now.
I was born in Rawalpindi, and what had happened is my father was a young doctor in India when there was the Guru Ka Bagh Morcha and Sikhs trying to get their gurdwaras back from British control. They'd go peacefully up to the gurdwara and just pray. There's no violence at all, except from the police and the soldiers who ruthlessly beat them up. Now, my father was a newly qualified doctor, and his job was to bandage up the wounded. And for that, he was blacklisted. He was still speaking out for the freedom movement, and the British authorities said, "What should we do with you?" They liked him. He said, "I want to get further qualifications in Britain." And they helped him. Then he called my mother over as well. And after a short time, when she was expecting me, she went back to Rawalpindi, her home. So I was actually born in Rawalpindi and then came back with her to Britain when I was less than a year old.
After I did my MA, I wanted to do PhD. And my topic was contribution of Sikh women to Sikh society. And in those days, they said, "What contribution?" And they didn't accept my title. It's amazing, isn't it? But 10 years later, they asked me to do the PhD, and then I looked at the work of women. What women did in Sikh history is amazing. Guru Tegh Bahadur, who was martyred, his wife, Mata Gujri, she is my hero. She's my role model. What a wonderful woman who looked after her son, who was only 9 years old, when her husband was martyred. His head was cut off because he wouldn't accept Islam. He was a Sikh. He says everybody has a right to believe in the religion they want to. Nobody has any right to convert them into other religions. So he preferred death rather than and he set an example for everybody. And his wife looked after Guru Gobind Singh, a young boy who was only 9 years old at that time. And he looked after the young children, 6-year and 8-year grandsons of hers. And she gave them the inspiration, taught them what is right and what's wrong. When they were asked to convert, they refused. And they were bricked alive. And who was the one who was giving them inspiration, giving them education, was Mata Gujri. She's a great role model.
We used to have little gurdwara at home, and I didn't know any Gurmukhi or Punjabi other than what my mother and father taught, because they would use it amongst themselves. And to us, although English was more and more the main language for us. Then after the war, my mother went to India. She was really in a very bad state, depressed, following all the difficulties of living through the war, shortages everywhere, and looking after 4 troublesome children who wanted to eat all the time and at a time of scarcity. She went there to have a little rest and recover. And she would write a letter. Now, she had never formally learnt English, but she'd use a few words of English. And I thought, that's nice of her, but why can't I use a few words of Punjabi? I found an old Punjabi dictionary, and I learnt the script and the alphabet by myself from that. And started writing a few very silly, simple sentences to her in reply. So I learnt about it that way. I went into mining engineering, and very tough, difficult course. Lots of discrimination and difficulties there. I finally qualified and got the prestigious mine manager certificate. And I went for an interview with the then National Coal Board, and was told to my face, you can't be a manager, the miners wouldn't like it. There was no Race Relations Act at the time. They said the miners wouldn't like it. Would you like to go in the scientific department? I said no. I wasn't terribly hurt, because that's what I half expected. But there were mines in India, and I thought, India's a country I know about but have never seen. No, I said, thank you, I'll do something else. And from there I went to India. So
it was a real chance. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they used to live here, but they had gone to India. And my father and my mother went to Delhi, and they just to meet somebody. They just met each other. And my mother was exceptionally pretty. My father was okay. And funny enough, my father-in-law said to my father, he said, how you come here? And they said, we're just going to meet a family for my son, my brother, a girl. And he said, oh, you got a daughter as well? He said, yes. And what is she doing? I was just finishing my MA. I said, I'm finishing MA. And he says, is she like you or like your wife? My father said, oh, my daughters are always beautiful. All daughters are beautiful, but mine is exceptionally beautiful. He invited us to their house for tea. No idea, nothing. And then there was Indarjit.
My wife calls me jiddle, that I cannot take something that is wrong. It's that perversity. When I got to India, what was happening, there was a Punjabi Suba movement. States after independence were given their language. A status was given to the regional language in all states except Punjab. I thought that this was ridiculously unfair. What's going on? Then we saw Sikhs being arrested in their thousands, put in jail for saying Punjabi should be the national language. Just for that. And Sikhs being put in jail, as you know, even today, is nothing new for protesting for freedom of conscience and freedom of belief and freedom of language. Now, my brother and I were there. We said, what can we do about this? My younger brother. And we knew that if we wrote to any of the main national newspapers, it would go straight in the bin. As if I Indarjit Singh wrote or he Jagjit Singh wrote, it would be straight in the bin. There was no chance of it. But then I thought, let's write as an Englishman. And I thought of the name of our neighbour, a very pompous guy, Victor Pendry. So I sent a letter to the Hindustan Times. It caused shockwaves because it was the only voice that anyone had ever uttered. Throughout education, it was difficult in many ways. There was a history teacher at school who would say, he'd look very crossly at me, they come over, he'd say to the whole class, they come over here, learn about our language and other things, and then they want to chuck us out of India, looking straight at me.
Getting a job was very, very difficult, especially here in Wimbledon. There wasn't a single non-white teacher, and they were making all sorts of excuses. My first job was in Birmingham. Actually, it was just an accident or chance. Outside the school, they wrote, "We need help. Please come and help us." And I had my daughter was young, and I went there and said, "Look, I'm quite happy to come and help, but I've got a daughter here, younger baby." She said, "Oh, she can go into a nursery," because she was 3 years old. And I started helping. And within a week, the head teacher came and said to me, "You're so good. You're better than my teachers. Why don't you start teaching?" I said, "Oh, I've never thought of that." She gave me the form, I filled the form, and she gave me the job. So after a year, when Indarjit moved to London, I applied here. And here, there was no non-white teacher. I was the first one. So they kept on, I don't know, but they kept on phoning my head teacher, asking her, "You're given a glowing report, what are her weaknesses?" She says, "There aren't any. If there were, I'm delighted to have her. I'm feeling sorry that I'm losing her. I would have told you." 3 phone calls, and the third phone call, my head teacher said, "Yes, the biggest weakness is she's not white. She's black." In those days, Asians and black were the same. And she put the phone down. So I didn't know this was happening while I was waiting for my interview. Anyway, they gave me the job. But it's very hard when I applied for deputy headship. It was so hard. When I applied for headship, I was a head teacher for some time, and they said, the councilors are not ready to have a black head. I think I was the first Asian head or whatever. And I said, "Well, I don't care whether they are ready or not. I'm ready to take the responsibility." So I applied for deputy headship. And the person who was interviewing gave me the feedback, and he said, "Look, you're too good to be deputy head. The head teachers don't like cleverer deputy than themselves. Why don't you apply for headship?" I said, "Can I do that?" So yeah. And lo and behold, the first I applied, I got the headship. I had the headship for some time. Then I became inspector for schools. For 32 years I've been inspector for schools. I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
In about 1983, I was invited to speak on Thought for the Day on BBC Radio 4. Now, that's very prestigious. It was the first time they'd invited anyone other than a Jew or a Christian. They invited a Hindu, a Buddhist, and myself. They didn't trust us, so they recorded it. It's a live program normally, but they recorded us. But my piece was broadcast, and it appealed to many people. And from there, I went on doing it until only 3 or 4 years ago, for more than 35 years. So it's a sort of evolution that from one thing to another thing to another thing, the jiddle or the perverse element in me always coming to the fore, for good or bad.
In 1988, there was an act passed, Education Act. And with that, the government has said, the act says, that the children who are from different religions, their religious attitudes, their religious customs, religions should be taken into account in education. They were saying which religions should be taught. And of course, everybody's saying their religion, their religion. And I was there representing inspectors, not Sikh, the inspectors, and they were saying, well, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and no name of Sikhism. I said, look, I'm a Sikh, And Sikhism is a religion as well. My colleagues, Hindu colleagues said, oh, that will come under Hinduism. I said, I'm sorry, it won't. Sikhism is an independent religion. So anyway, in the end, it was agreed that there will be 6 religions: Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism and Sikhism. And that's how our religion, I feel very happy about it, that I was instrumental in making sure that Sikhism is an independent religion, recognized independent religion in this country. And I think this is the first time it ever happened, because even in India, under the constitution, we are under Hindus.
One year they had this competition, Listener's Lord, asking people who would they like, which broadcaster would they like to see in the House of Lords. It wasn't confined to religion, it was a general question. I was shortlisted and eventually came second to Bob Geldof, the singer and the human rights campaigner, which was very good because it boosted the profile of Sikhs. It's strange because I was involved in politics from the outside, criticising the way the government was behaving. And both the Tories and Labour approached me, would you like us to join our parties? And I said no. And eventually someone else said that, why don't you apply? And I applied as an independent to the House of Lords, a very rigorous interviews, and it was difficult. And during the interview process, I was asked, do you realise that if you're appointed, you'll be the first turbaned member in Parliament, not in Lords or Commons, in Parliament? And anyone else would have said, oh, that's nice. But the perversity came out again. I don't want to be appointed as a token Sikh. And reflecting on it, I could have failed the interview on that. But no, they were impressed with that. And I was nominated and joined the House of Lords. And my role has been to criticise foreign policy when I feel it's wrong, to stress the role of religion and the importance of religions working together to make a better society.
He loves going to House of Lords and loves asking questions, and I think he might be the one who's asked the most questions, difficult questions, always the human rights questions. And I'm quite happy. I've just stopped working now. I'm quite old, but I worked right till last year, and I've stopped working as an inspector now, and I've got more time to spend with my family, with my friends, with my commitments to different organizations.
The childhood version of me would just simply say, wow, how on earth did I get where I am?